When people think of Marilyn Monroe, they picture Hollywood glamour, platinum blonde hair, red lips, flashing cameras. But her story didn't begin in luxury. It began with instability, loneliness, and survival. Marilyn was born Norma Jean Mortensen on June 1, 1926, in Los Angeles, California. She never knew her father, and her mother, Gladys, struggled with severe mental health issues. When Marilyn was just a child, her mother was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and was eventually institutionalized. That left young Norma Jean without a stable home. She spent much of her childhood moving between foster homes and an orphanage. By the time she was 16, she had lived with multiple families. Stability was something she rarely experienced. To avoid being sent back to the orphanage when her foster family moved away, she married her neighbor, James Doherty, at just 16 years old. Even as a child, Marilyn loved movies. The screen became her escape, a place where life seemed brighter and more beautiful than her own reality. That dream eventually pushed her to pursue modeling during World War II while her husband was overseas. Her modeling career took off quickly, and soon she caught the attention of Hollywood executives. But the confident, glamorous persona the world would later adore was built on a childhood marked by abandonment and insecurity. Marilyn once said she never felt truly wanted as a child. That deep longing for love and acceptance would follow her throughout her life. Before she became a global icon, Marilyn Monroe was just a young woman trying to build a future for herself. In 1944, during World War II, Norma Jean was working at a factory in California, helping with the war effort while her husband was overseas. A military photographer came to the factory to take morale-boosting photos of women workers, and he noticed her. She had a natural presence in front of the camera. That moment changed everything. She began modeling almost immediately, signing with the Blue Book model agency. Within months, she was appearing on magazine covers and in advertisements. Her look was transformed. She straightened her naturally curly brown hair and dyed it blonde. The name Norma Jean slowly faded, and the image of Marilyn Monroe began to form. In 1946, she signed her first film contract with 20th Century Fox. It was there that she officially became Marilyn Monroe. At first, her roles were tiny, sometimes just a single line, sometimes none at all. After her initial contract wasn't renewed, she didn't give up. She kept taking small parts, studying acting, and working to improve her craft. By 1950, she began landing more noticeable roles in films like The Asphalt Jungle and All About Eve. Even in brief appearances, audiences noticed her. She had a magnetic quality, something difficult to define but impossible to ignore. Still, Hollywood tried to typecast her as just a blonde bombshell. But behind the scenes, Marilyn was ambitious. She studied acting seriously and fought for better roles. The glamorous star image was carefully crafted, but it was also strategic. She understood how Hollywood worked, and she learned how to make it work for her. August 5, 1962. Brentwood, Los Angeles. Inside a quiet bedroom, the world's most famous blonde lay lifeless in her bed. The official announcement was swift. Marilyn Monroe had died from an overdose of barbiturates. The coroner ruled it a probable suicide. Case closed. But for millions of people, the case was just beginning. Because Marilyn Monroe wasn't just a movie star. She was a cultural force. A woman who had clawed her way from foster homes to global fame. A woman who had powerful friends, and possibly powerful enemies. In the months before her death, Marilyn had been linked to President John F. Kennedy. Their relationship was never officially confirmed, but rumors were everywhere, especially after her breathy, unforgettable, "Happy Birthday" performance at Madison Square Garden. Some claim the connection didn't stop there. There were whispers about his brother, Robert F. Kennedy. According to conspiracy theories, Marilyn confided in friends that she felt discarded, pushed aside, silenced. And then there was the diary. Allegedly, Marilyn kept a small red notebook filled with personal thoughts, and possibly sensitive political information. After her death, it was never publicly recovered. Was it simply misplaced, or intentionally removed? Witness accounts from the night she died have fueled suspicion for decades. Some say Robert Kennedy was seen at her home earlier that day. Others claim the timeline doesn't add up. There were reports that her housekeeper washed sheets before authorities arrived. Why disturb a potential crime scene? And then there's the question of how she died. No water glass was found near her bed, unusual if she had swallowed dozens of pills. Some conspiracy theorists suggest the drugs may not have been taken orally at all. Was the overdose staged? The FBI later released files confirming they had monitored Marilyn. Not because she was a threat, but because of her associations. During the Cold War era, proximity to powerful men and alleged left-leaning acquaintances raised eyebrows. Add in the rumored ties between Hollywood elites, Washington politics, and organized crime, and the story becomes even darker. Some believe the mafia may have been involved, either as a warning, or as part of a larger political chess game. But here's the other side of the story. Marilyn struggled deeply with depression. She battled insomnia, anxiety, and reliance on prescription medications. She had experienced heartbreak, career pressure, and profound loneliness. Friends described her as fragile in the months before her death. The official ruling has never changed. Probable suicide. And yet, the inconsistencies, the powerful names, the missing pieces, they refuse to fade. Maybe the truth is tragic and simple, a woman overwhelmed by pain. Or maybe the truth was buried alongside her. More than 60 years later, the mystery surrounding Marilyn Monroe still lingers, because when beauty, power, politics, and fame collide, the truth rarely comes without shadows.